Yo, what's up, people? Welcome to another late edition of Friday Night WrestleCast. We're having all kinds of crazy technical shit. I had my server having issues, and we had some other things going on, but we were like, no, we still got to talk about this. So this is a prediction. Oh, now there we go. Going back towards this is our recap of AEW's Double or Nothing 2020. And I'm your host, Adam Vale, over here at the Koalition with Dana Abercrombie. I always fuck it up, but there's Dana. Dana.
Thank you for not fully butchering the name.
I don't know why. Because I always think of the first. I think of the store.
It's the store.
Yes, and I used to hate that store. And then I keep thinking of that song that was about the store.
Yeah. That works. That both work.
I hate it. Did you shop? Did you ever shop at Abercrombie?
Yes, I pull out the name card and they're like, "Oh my god!"
There you go.
Like one time, I got like a fragrance for free. That's about it.
Damn, see,
It was awful, terrible.
Yeah, and the hurts. All right, so people, here we go. It was a good show. So Dana and I, we watched it, and I see. I don't even want to start. It's not. See, I know that pause makes it seem like I'm going to say something negative.
Yeah, because he's gonna be.
And it's not negative, and there's some negative feelings toward it, but it's not for the reasons most people are thinking. We've been hearing a lot of like, oh well, they need a crowd, and I don't care. I talked about it in the past shows. I don't care. I'm fine with this crowdless. They had some kind of crowd there, and even throwing in some of the chants of "This is awesome" and stuff, and "Holy shit" and all that stuff. That was fine. I wasn't needed though. I get why they do it, and I know that some people at home that feel that they need that crowd noise in the back to make it feel like it's worth it. But then if you think about it, if you see a fight, all right, this is the way I try to explain it to some people. If you walk down the street and you see two guys brawling it out, are you going to stop and watch, or are you going to just walk away because there's no other people watching? You're going to stop and watch. At least I am. I'm going to be, oh shit, these guys they're throwing it down. Let me see what's going on. I mean, if I don't feel like intervening, if I don't know somebody, they'll break it up. But yeah, I don't want to watch. And that's the way I feel about this. So I don't think that the poor ratings on both parts has anything to do with that. I think people just have other worries or other things that they're doing other than watch wrestling.
Well, we're in a completely different time period. Back in the 90s and the early 2000s and even the 80s, wrestling was something that everyone sat down for because, one, we didn't have as many programs as we have now. We have like 800 channels. And we have Netflix and Amazon and Hulu and Quibi and soon coming Peacock.
Peacock. Yeah. It's a lot. You're right. It's a lot.
It's a lot all at once. And you can get overwhelmed. And then on top of that, just in general, you have to have something that's really going to captivate the fans. And you have to find that kind of perfect angle. And I really believe that before, when we had like the celebrities from like the Cyndi Lauper days to the Mike Tyson to the whomever.
Well, speaking of that, Mike Tyson looked great. I'm so excited that he's coming back, and obviously this was to show the world, or at least the wrestling world on the grand scale, how he looks, how he's doing. He looks 10 times better than when George Foreman decided to come out of retirement, even though he kicked ass and he did his special block with the parallel arms, forearms, if you recall that. That was awesome. I still wish if I ever had a fight, it's like I want to see if I could pull it off, but I can't because you need those thick ass forearms. He built like a wall. That was amazing when he would do that, But anyway, yeah.
Mike Tyson also with Mike Tyson, he was a huge fan from the very first Double or Nothing. So they brought him back in for like the second, and he just enjoyed himself.
Yeah, he enjoyed himself. He likes wrestling. He likes the business. I was always surprised that he never really got into it. Maybe that wasn't his cup of tea, but I was like, man, he could have made it. Remember that whole thing with Steve Austin way back and all that. So I thought he was trying to get his feet wet, and that was going to be more than just an appearance. But all right, so let's get this whole thing. All right, for the first match, which was that ladder match. What did you think? What was your expectations going into that? And then, of course, they had the mystery opponent due to the injury.
Before, really quickly, we have to talk about the best friends in a private party because a lot of people missed the fact that they actually gave tribute to
Yes.
Sarge.
Yes.
They did the
Yes.
G9, which
Yeah.
was that tribute alone was very nice and was such a well, done moment. Everything else was botchy, but other than that, that one part was very nice. And now going in with the ladder match, it was great. How could you not love this ladder match? There were so many different things kind of going on at the same time where there were moments that I didn't like because it felt like there was a lot of space in between as you waited for the next setup or the next guy.
Yeah. Yeah. It was definitely when they brought out the mini ladder for what's his name from the Jurassic. I'm drawing a blank on his name.
Luchasaurus?
No, 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 not Luchasaurus. The little one, the
Oh,
5'1".
Marco Stunt.
Marco Stunts. Yeah, it's when Marco got on that, and I thought that was cute. I was like, all right, that's fun. I've never seen that before. They threw in some crazy segments. I wasn't sure if well, just keep going your end, and I'll get to it.
I thought that there were parts that was really great. This was between Brian Cage, who looks like his steroids does steroids.
Well, yeah, that was interesting. I'm glad that he showed up. I'm trying to figure out Taz's situation with that. If he's going to be the manager, if
I
he's
think
going, you think he's going to be the manager? Now, is that going to interfere with his commentary duties, or is he just giving
no,
that up and going to be an on-air personality?
I don't see why he can't do both. I mean, you have JR's back, so maybe JR's taking the spot.
He,
Yeah, JR.
Hey, I'm just glad the man's working and he's there.
He
I
was
love Taz,
great.
so I was a big supporter of his show when he had that going on.
Well, Brian Cage, I think he's going to be his manager. I thought it was hilarious that throughout the entire match, JR just seemed to be confused, like, why is Taz here? He just didn't know.
Well, he should have been really confused. Why did Taz have a towel? What's the point, Taz? I mean, are you gonna give that to Cage to wipe him down? I mean, I get it's your color and the whole thing, but
Right.
yet he wasn't wiping his own face with it. It just says, I know everybody knows who Taz is. That's the thing. You don't need the towel to be like, oh, is that Taz with the towel? It's like, no, we know who Taz is.
Uh-huh.
So that's the only part that threw me off. But besides that, it was cool. I'm glad Cage is at AEW. He's been in Impact for a while. Then before that, he was at Lucha Underground, which, RIP. That is never coming back. Man, I loved Lucha Underground.
I know that.
So good, so good. But Cage had a big part in that too, and everybody knows him. Well, maybe not from Tough Enough, because he's also from Tough Enough.
Mm-hmm.
When that was a thing. So there's another WWE semi-alum. He didn't really do anything on the main stage, but he's still part of that world, making it outside of that world, which is great. That was fine.
And for this, I kind of view Brian Cage is going to be their kind of Brock Lesnar.
Oh yes, yeah.
Definitely.
Definitely that big guy. They had him do some big moves. Now the thing that I was gonna bring up, and now it's a good part, is the whole Darby Allin. I'm still trying to figure out if
No.
if that was legit, that injury from the top with his knee, or not, because I watched it and then I had to slow mo it back. He hit his knee on that
Mm-hmm.
ladder and bounced off. And that screaming that he was like, that screech, I was like, if it was a work, then that was a great work, because I got me fooled. It looked painful, the whole thing. Then again, he's wearing pants, knee pad underneath, could protect whatever, but still, he was out for a while. He didn't get involved in that match until much later on, a few minutes. Eventually, when Luchasaurus was in there, then he jumped in and then he was back out. And even when he was in there for a while trying to set up the ladder, he was still limping. Yeah, he could be selling it, but something about it, I was like, he's a high flyer risk taker, and to be taken out early in the match like that made no sense to me. Is what I'm going for. You don't put a high flyer risk taker like that early on in that match, because he was like, I think it was number 3, right? The third participant, and then within a matter of seconds he gets hurt, unless he was already hurt going in, and they're like, all right, listen, we're gonna set up a bump. That way it sort of takes you out of the equation for a while, and you just have to come in at key spots. Because the next real relevant part he came in was when it was time to do that spot with Cage, where he laid on the ladder, and then that took a little too long. because the ladder tipped, and they decided they were going to still go with it. And then, he put him back on the ladder in the corner, and then Cage picked up the ladder with Darby on it, and then threw the whole thing out. It wasn't needed for me. Mm-hmm. I didn't care. I mean, if once they saw that the little segment thing that the spot they were setting up botched the way that it did, where it was sliding outside the ring, he should have just grabbed Darby out off of it, power bombed him in the ring, and tossed his ass out. Because I'm not gonna. It didn't do anything for me to see him laying on the ladder and then get tossed out with the ladder. All right, whatever. And then of course he climbs up a Cage and he wins. So what was it? It was Rey Fenix, right? That was supposed to be in it and took that horrible bump. Oh man,
he is gone.
See, but then that makes me wonder also, because Cage was replacing him, right?
I believe so.
But then again, I don't know if that's the case, because how do you justify saying, all right, he can't work, we're going to go with Cage, who's going to be our surprise guy, and then he's just going to win it. So I'm assuming that then something else was going to happen. I don't know. I remember seeing the card beforehand, and I didn't see anything about a mystery participant.
Well, no, here's the thing. Joey Janela was the one who replaced.
Oh, there you go. All right, my bad. See, I'm so used to seeing Joey that I just assumed he was there.
When he landed on a crowd of the ladders on Wednesday's show was how he got injured.
Oh, yes. Well, that was a horrible bump. Nobody was there. He overshot.
Yeah.
That was horrible.
Cage was supposed to already debut.
Oh, okay. All right. So then that was still the plan. All right. Yeah. It was the Joey Janela that was the replacement. Okay. Right. I forgot. I just assumed that he was already in it, and he was not. Okay. All right. But overall, it was fun. I enjoyed it. I think that's the first time I've ever seen a ladder match done in this fashion, with everybody just running in, sort of like a Rumble type feel. Because their Double or Nothing last time was a Rumble. Mm-hmm. Right. So.
I'm surprised you liked the whole thing, including Orange Cassidy. Because
Orange Cassidy's fun. That was fun.
You don't like his style of wrestling, like the lazy wrestler.
No, I never said that. I don't see him as a main event, but he's great comic relief. He's a Santina, that type of thing, or Santino, depending which one you like.
I think you like the whole gimmick of him not knowing what a ladder match was.
That, or when it's silly parts. Think about it. Like when he puts the ladder underneath him, he's like, oh, I have to climb the ladder, and he just steps on it and lifts his hands up. It's like, come on now. Now you definitely know. But he couldn't set up the ladder. And we've been fortunate enough that was that last month? Money in the Bank. Yeah, early at the part. We were fortunate to see two different takes on the ladder match, besides the roof and all that. Meaning with Otis, when he stepped on the first ring and it broke, where he bent it. I'm like, that's a first. I don't think I've ever seen that, where he can't climb the ladder. So that rules him out instantly, because he's going to break all the rings. He's not going to be able to climb all the steps.
I think that was more of like a fat joke that Vince liked to throw in there.
Well, it could be a fat joke, but it's the fact that it broke. I've never seen that. So then that pretty much rules him out as someone that can climb it. And then now here with Orange Cassidy, we're not knowing how to set up a ladder. So how is he going to climb it if he doesn't know how to set it up? But
yet you forget that we had that amazing cage match with War Machine and what was the other ones before they got called up? I forgot their names.
War Machine and...
But it was the NXT Takeover event. That was one of the best.
Sanity was part of it. There was Sanity. So you're not talking. They weren't called War Machine. That was Heavy Machinery.
Heavy Machinery. There you go.
Yeah, Heavy Machinery. Who else was in that one? That was the first War Games.
Right. Yeah. So he can climb. He's fine. It's just a gimmick because, it's documented that Vince.
Yeah.
Kind of overweight people.
No. Of course, a gimmick. I know, but it's just funny. We've never seen that. I can't recall of ever seeing that done to explain why someone can't climb the ladder. We've seen Kane. We've seen all the big guys climb it.
Undertaker.
Undertaker. We've never seen them sell like, oh look, he broke the bottom step. But that back to with Orange Cassidy, that was fun. Even when his way of trying to get up was to hold on to Cage, and Cage, his reaction was perfect because he was like, "Is there something on my back?" Well, whatever. And he's like not even sure about it, but just said, "Fuck it, let me just keep climbing." That's classic. I love it. I love it. That was awesome. Very happy for Cage. Super happy for Cage. Now, if we could only get our boy Jeff Cobb to come back full time, then that's it. That's all I need. Because Jeff Cobb, shit, man. If only I know Jeff Cobb wasn't fond of his Monster Matanza gimmick at Lucha Underground.
Right.
He talked about it. He likes to show off his face just so people know who he is, because he hated the fact that when that whole thing was said and done, he was trying to market himself. And they were like, "Oh, what have you done? We can't really find anything on you on YouTube or what. You gotta look up Monster Matanza. I wore a mask." Oh, it's like, oh shit. And I get it, and I never really thought about that because over in Mexico, when you see lucha libre wrestlers, almost all of them are under mask, and it's just respected. So it's like, oh, I'm the guy under this mask. Okay, oh, it's cool. But that didn't seem, according to the interviews that Jeff Cobb had, the reaction he was receiving. It was more of like, well, how do we really know it's you? Oh, well, how do you, you don't own that gimmick, right? And maybe that's the factor. He did not own Monster Matanza. He didn't own the mask. So he would be wrestling as Jeff Cobb. So I was like, shit, grab another mask. Get another crazy mask. There was nothing special about the mask. He was just some beast. It sort of looked like, sort of like a Michael Myers, because he wore like the mechanic outfit, jumpsuit. So they could figure something out. Anyway, go back. I wouldn't mind if he went down that road, because right now he's just running around with the singlet, looking like a wrestler. And he is an amateur wrestler from Guam and wrestled in the Olympics, so it applies. But anyway, yeah, just off the rant. I'm glad for Cage. So, any high spots for you?
The whole thing was just really obviously Darby Allin, because he's crazy. But overall, I just really liked everything that wasn't botchy. I know that there was the drill claw before they did the press slamming him on the outside. There was the spot where they basically literally buried Brian Cage under the.
Yeah, remind me. Once I saw that, I'm like, oh, this is just like what happened when Brock Lesnar had that fatal 4-way. Remember? And the first thing they did was kick his ass, and they put everything on top of him to just get the big man out of it for a while.
So that was really great. Luchasaurus, I really want to see a match between him and Brian Cage.
Yeah, I think we're going to see that.
That was really great. So I just thought everything was just really good. And again, you have to wonder what Taz is going to play in this, which I think is going to just be his old manager gimmick. Him coming out with the towel and probably training him like he was trained in ECW.
Well, they were even hinting at that with JR and them. They were talking about, it's like, oh, well, what factor does he play? And then, of course, Cage was doing some suplexes and was like, well, look, he's being trained by Taz. He's pulling off suplexes. It's like, all right, well, Cage, I'm trying to think if I ever really listened to any of his promos. There was a few. He's all right. Nothing stands out. He doesn't have the intensity. He has the look, not the intensity. Taz brings the intensity when he does his, and even at the end, remember he looked into the camera. He's like, he's gonna go through everyone here. I was like, there you go. You need a mouthpiece, and bring back the managers. I'm all for that. So, yeah. So it was cool. It was cool. I was happy with the ending.
Yeah. It was nice. Colt got the shine. He just seems like that wrestler who's just really happy to be there. It was nice to see Colt.
I wondered about that finger spot. Was that legit?
I thought as well, but he moved the fingers to show that he was okay.
Okay. And for those who didn't see, he was on the ladder. He was climbing up, and I forgot who it was, tipped over the ladder for him falling backward into the corner. So he fell against the left turnbuckle. The ladder closed in on him while his hands were still holding onto the ladder. And you see both hands, his 4 fingers on each hand, get clamped in when the ladder compacted, dude. So he was screaming. So I'm like, oh, that shit. If this is legit, I mean, if you've ever seen those big metal ones, you can just really, you could snap off some fingers. You could break some fingers. So I was concerned at that point. I'm like, was this a spot? Was this planned? But you said that you saw him move his fingers.
Yeah, because right after, because you see it in his face, like the pure pain. And he's trying not to scream, but he moves his fingers and they move like normal.
Okay.
So
Yeah,
that,
he continued with the match, but there's adrenaline. There's a lot of things pumping, and you always hear after the fact,
yeah.
that they were banged up and they couldn't move. Okay, well, that was fun. That was one. Now we're not gonna go through. We can go through all of them, I guess, because there were some that were meh, but then there's ones that really stood out, and I have to bring this up. This whole thing with Cody, man, with Cody and with Lance Archer, people may disagree. All right, and this is it. Get ready. We're gonna do this. We're gonna have to do this. Okay, because my issue with this is that Lance Archer's getting this huge push. Right, huge push. He's got the awesome Jake Roberts, the man. No one can top him in promos. He's been selling this like crazy. Lance Archer has had a bunch of matches. Nobody really that big. I mean, what he did, well, not just that big, but no one of high importance within the company. He had one with Colt Cabana that they were really hyping up, but he did a few other matches and just running through everyone during this tournament. But then he gets to Cody, and he loses clean to Cody. I get Crossroads. He had to do two of them on him, but still clean win when you're trying to build up somebody. It's over. This reminds me of the old Hogan days. And I know right there people were like, what do you mean? No, I'm not trying to jump on that bandwagon of like all former WWE guys getting big push or like this Cody because he's a high level person in the company and that now he's gonna do what he wants and is he booking this? I think they're all in charge of booking, right? It's him, Kenny Omega, and the Bucks. They all share that responsibility.
Tony?
Yeah, and Tony Khan, they all share the responsibility. And the reason why I bring it up with the Hogan is because back in the day, they would bring in people for Hogan. They would do big stories, big build-ups, a lot of back and forth, and then the build-up would end at the main pay-per-view event, and Hogan would get the win, and that's it. That program was over.
Remember the finger poke of doom?
Yeah. All that's there you go. Finger poke of doom, right? But that's what I'm saying. This, I saw as this was going to be huge. I was like, this is it. This is going to be a long one. They're building up with Robert saying Lance is here. He says, I'm not here for everybody. I'm here for you. I'm here to destroy your legacy in this company. And then it's a not squash, but it's a clean finish. It was a clean finish. It was a lot of back and forth. Good match. Not going to hate. Good match. Wait, it's a good match. Then when he started throwing the little twists and turns and with Tyson calling out shenanigans on some stuff that was happening in the outside by Arn Anderson, then the ref making decisions, sending Arn and Jake Roberts back to the dressing room area. It's like, hey, that's it. Okay. Now it's just a clean match. And he lost. And Cody wins, and he wins the belt, and I'm okay with him winning a belt, whatever. It was just the whole thing with Lance. Where does Lance go from here? Because it was a clean win. And as we'll talk later on with the main event match of how they went about it, is how they should have gone about it with this match. So for me, solid match. Cody's a great performer, but it's a little suspect when you put all this work and money and time investing in Lance Archer. And then when they're like, what do you mean money? But well, you got to get Jake Roberts. Jake Roberts is on the payroll. Jake Roberts' job is not as a wrestler. He's going to be a manager. So then he is part of the Lance Archer product. So he's part of that package deal. That's money that they're putting in. And unless they use Jake Roberts to manage someone else right now, he's solely for Archer. So that they're putting time and money into this. And for him to lose clean like that, it's so early on in the program, even if if something could have happened, I don't know, make it look more brutal or I don't know. It bothered me. I was not happy with that finish, and I'm concerned of how the community is going to see Lance Archer after this, or even Cody, because a lot of people online, you look on Reddit and you look in forums, and a lot of people are like, oh, don't look at that shit. Yeah, don't look at it, but you could glance at it and don't take too much into heart. But you'll see a lot of people like, oh, there you go. This is the same thing of what happens with Triple H. This guy's shooting on him, but he's doing the same shit. He's putting himself over. He's getting his title shot. He's beating new guys, new talent that are coming in, top guys, possibly top guys, clean. It's one thing to not do it or to do it, but it's another thing to do it clean. And this is very clean. So it doesn't leave anything to the imagination of a what if of like what we'll talk about in the main event. So those are my issue concerns. What did you think, Dana?
Okay, this is not my favorite match. My favorite match was the one you skipped over. But I will say this. I appreciate the story building that they did. Even from the beginning, when they came out with Mike Tyson and that Plato title, the TNT title, um, I thought it was a really great belt. You had the whole Robert, what is this? Oh gosh, Jake the Snake.
Yeah.
Sorry, I forgot about that. You had the whole build with Jake the Snake, and he is an amazing talker. And you have him being the manager, and then you have Mike Tyson come out, and it feels like this is going to be a huge moment. And honestly, it kind of felt like I thought we was going to get a little glimpse of Mike Tyson,
Oh
wrestling.
yeah. I thought he was gonna jump when he jumped into the ring and he took off his shirt, and I'm like, man, God was ripped. He's solid. He's basically showing, like I said before, the universe, hey, look, I'm ready to go. He looks like in tip top shape.
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking forward to seeing that in ring fight, his upcoming one. All right, keep going.
So they had really, for me, they had great back and forth. I thought they was doing perfectly fine. Every time that Cody tried to make this big move, Archer kind of just blocked him and would come back really strong and he'd quickly just cut him down. And almost to the point where I was like, oh, he's going to just, maybe at the end of the day, it's going to just be done and over with and he'll win. But what happened was that Archer ended up exposing the steel turnbuckle. And he went running whip first right into the turnbuckle, which allowed Cody to get the advantage, which again was great build up in the match. Okay, I thought that from then you kind of saw the dynamic shift where he did the top rope cutter, and I know there was a lot of 2 counts, and I really thought he was gonna. For me, it was really great to follow, and I didn't know who was going to win. And yes, you have it in the back of your mind that Cody is one of the main people of AEW. He's one of the creators of AEW, and he could maybe win, or at the end of the day, he could maybe say, no, let me push someone else. Obviously, that didn't happen. We'll get to that. But I thought overall you had Arn Anderson came. He distracted the referee, which is really great. You had Armstrong and Jake Roberts, who were both ejected. So you had that going on. As you said before, there was Mike Tyson, who was jumping off, ready to beat Robert. So I thought that was great, too. And it was pure chaos. And in the midst of that chaos, because you're like, oh, my God, it was clean. Yes, it was clean, but it was still in the midst of that chaos. Rhodes hit the blackout. And he was able to take the victory. So it wasn't clean. It was distracted clean.
I guess, but it's I don't know. It just didn't give that impact of like, oh man, this could have really went the other way. No, it just definitely looked like Cody won. He kicked his ass.
If Cody lost, you would have liked the match better. Because
no, if not that Cody lost, but I'm gonna say this, and this is just to quote Richard Billy. I had something controversial to say. I would have been cool with a DQ or some craziness happening.
What? No,
I would have been if it was brutal though, not a brutal. It had to be brutal. I wanted to see some story progression, is what I'm saying. I didn't see any story progression here. This looked like a one and done for me.
No, it was not a one and done because you had Jake Roberts running around. You had Arn Anderson. You had Mike Tyson, where we don't really know the role he may end up playing later on. That right there. He can easily be a manager. Remember the whole situation with Sting?
Wait, who's going to be a manager? What are you talking about?
Mike Tyson.
Oh, Mike Tyson's not going to be a manager. He's not. No, he's not sticking around.
He can make a run in and guest appearance manager. Point is, and also remember there was the Stinger Splash that Cody did in the ring as well.
Oh no! Well, I think that was a little nod to the community and to fuel the fire because of the whole thing with Sting, and then of course Jim Ross making that comment was like, well, that was his child boy hero, and it's like, all right, whatever, we get it, you know. I'm just that's what he said. That is what he said.
What he said, and it was a culmination. If you looked at it, this was a TNT title. But I don't know, forget what the full name is.
It's a TV. It's basically, and that's the other thing. Hey, just to take this offense, a lot of people are poo-pooing on this title. It's a BS title. It's a TV title. Every promotion has had a TV title. They just never called it the brand. You know, we had it in all the promotions. They've all had a TV title. So this is no different. It's just named the actual channel that it's on. For a long time, you had for Rob Van Dam, Mr. Monday Night had the TV title for ECW. So it's okay. It's not a bad title. They needed some kind of title to progress it. You know, that whole North American title that they have for NXT. What the hell is that? That's
what the heck is the Universal title?
The Universal title, they're mislabeled because the Universal title was supposed to be originally if people can look this up, way back when they first talked about unifying, making this Universal title, that title was going to be defended on all brands. That was going to be the Ultimate Champ, and that he would pop up anywhere for whoever wants to challenge. So there would be a SmackDown champion, and then you had the Raw champion, and then you had the Omega, this Ultimate Champion. It was weird. They never materialized it in that fashion. They just said, "Oh, Universal is just a Raw champion." That makes no sense because you're not in the universe. Remember, they advertised this as the WWE Universe. Whatever brand, whatever show you're on, they talk to the universe. They don't say, "Oh, the SmackDown fans, the Raw fans." No, WWE Universe fans. That title was supposed to be defended on all shows. They never did it. Yeah, and they never did it, and it just became a Raw championship, whatever. But no, so I'm okay with him winning this. It was a good match. I just feel for me, I just feel like they didn't progress the story, and I don't see where they're gonna go with it.
Story. This can be a feud. Look, you
could make anything a feud. I'm just saying it didn't. It felt very case closed for me. It would have felt more if there was interference, and then
interference,
but not enough. If it was more interference that led to one. Here's my example. Let's say Arn Anderson, right before he leaves, or Jake Roberts is arguing and the whole thing, and Arn throws in, I don't know, a chair or knuckles or something like that, and then Cody clocks him with whatever he has in his hand, and then he gets the pin. Arn points to the ref. Hey, look. He turns around. He sees Cody's pinning him. 1, 2, 3. There you go. Huh?
He did that in a way because you had
the turnbuckle. Yeah, the turnbuckle. Yeah, you had it.
With the turnbuckle, which then allowed Cody to hit his move.
See, but that didn't. That could have happened either way. It's not outside interference. That's in the ring. It was just exposed. That's all. To me. It doesn't count. It doesn't count anything because you know what? If there's an exposed, if you expose a turnbuckle, the ref never stops the match for that. If you throw in a foreign object, the ref will stop to grab whatever was in there and throw it out. They let that fly when there's an exposed turnbuckle, which means that if, let's say, we take it out, the padding, and I go and I bang my opponent's head on it, and he collapses on the floor and I pin, that's all legit. So it's still clean. It's still clean. All right.
You forgot the fact that Arn hit Archer.
Yeah, he hit Archer, but come on, it's Arn. He's not enough power to really cause damage. It was like, oh yeah, I see that.
I'm sorry. Did you want it like an exploding body part or something?
I want him with brass knuckles in his hands. Something to cause serious impact that now we could say, hey, if you didn't have Arn's help, you were not winning this match. All right, well, there goes that. We both have different agrees. But we both disagree on that, but we both agree that it was a good match, even though you actually see it. Here's where flip-flops. I actually liked it. You said you didn't like it too much. You're defending the ending.
Because he's the head of the company.
Okay, so you think this is some favoritism.
So it felt a bit, not the word for nepotism, but, you know.
Yeah, well.
It felt like a McMahon situation.
But you know what? It's always going to feel like that. It's always because of what we know. This has always been the issue that we've always heard from every wrestler who has talked about where active wrestlers also do the writing. And he said it never works. Remember Scott Hall, Kevin Nash? Kevin Nash said he hated it when he was doing all that stuff in Impact because of what happened. And of course, eventually what happened in WCW. You can't have, what he said, the inmates run the asylum. He said you can't do it. They won't do it. It will eventually lead to some favoritism, even if it's not the intent. It will happen. And that's what everyone fears. Once we heard AEW, being put together, Jericho, we didn't know the role Jericho was going to have at the time. We knew that he was behind it. He was getting the bucks. He was getting all these other people. Okay. But once you start hearing, all right, who's writing, who's creative? And Khan said he wasn't going to do that. He was just going to be the financer. Next, nope. He's now part of the team writing. I'm cool with that. That's his business. Do it. That works. But then when you start hearing that, oh, the Bucks are part of creative, Cody's part of creative, Kenny Omega's part of creative, it's like, wait,
But
what? But the one thing that we hear outside of that from other talent like Moxley and like Brody Lee is that even though they're part of creative, all the wrestlers have their own creative control over their characters, which is something you don't see in WWE. So yes, they are the overseers of storylines, but they're not creating your character for the storyline. You create your character. So that way, if you fail as a performer or with your character, then you die on your own sword. Because
and we saw that.
So that's it. That's why it's like I'm not too much against it, but then there's no way we could ever look past it because we know what we know. And so regardless, that even if it was 2-3 years down the road and Cody wins a title and he becomes, people are always going to say with the little asterisk, well, he's still part of the creative. He's still one of the higher. You know what I mean? It's always going to come up. There's no avoiding it unless he was not and he was just a talent. But he's not just a talent.
Yeah, I mean, it's a complicated situation.
Exactly, it's complicated.
He did remove himself from the
the main time, and he always brings it up. He brought it up even in the promo package for this match. He was like, he thought he was never going to get a title match of any sort because he lost that match with Jericho where he can never compete to that, which they could always scrap anytime they want. But anyway, he said there goes that, and then this belt came along and he entered himself in a tournament, and here he is. Now he's a champ, and fine, you know. I'm okay with that. It's just I wanted a little more just to help build Lance Archer. That's all. Right now, I don't really care about Lance Archer. That's where I feel. I feel like his first serious competitor, doesn't have to be Cody now, his first serious competition in AEW, and he loses it. He loses it on a pay-per-view event. So that's a double smack in the face. So, all right. So now you said I skipped over one. Are you talking about the MJF?
The second greatest match on the whole card?
The MJF?
Yes.
You really thought that was a... Oh, man. Because I'm just running... I mean, that's the thing. We could just talk about the main one. So for you, that's a main one. So what did you like about MJF versus Jungle Boy?
That was literally Samson and... No, wrong biblical reference. The Goliath, David and Goliath.
Oh, no. Now that's wrong also. Because MJF... I can understand if it was Lance Archer. That's a massive...
No,
MJF is not a big guy.
When you have... No, not physically. In the terms of personality and arrogance and completely full of himself, and you have Jungle Boy.
Yeah, no, he's a good heel. He's a good heel. Jungle Boy is definitely...
Jungle Boy is like the complete, like, you know, kind of like, can I come in kind of guy who doesn't seem like he fits in at all. And forget the company and just wrestling alone. He's way too...
I don't go that far. No, he looks like he
he's
fits
not Marvel Stunt, but you know, he's like...
He has a look, and that look helps with his moveset and stuff. So I don't know. He really haven't heard him much on the mic, so I can't say what kind of personality he can provide.
In the terms of look, you have someone, if this was high school, MJF would be the jock. Jungle Boy would easily be the kid who's being made fun of, who's doing the chemistry in the back.
Okay.
Who's the nerd, who's helping everyone with their school papers so that they can graduate because they're too dumb.
Damn.
Sorry.
Damn. But all right, so what? So let me get. So are you saying you didn't like Jungle Boy?
No. I just said that I love Jungle Boy. I said he's the one who's helping everyone else because they're too dumb to do their own work. He's doing everyone else's work.
But you just praised MJF as a performer and this and that. So
I did not praise MJF for that. I said he is arrogant, he is cocky, he is completely...
But you said this was your second best match of the night. So what stood out?
You have someone who they're completely mismatched. And they had, to me, the whole thing was like the tortoise, the tortoise and the hare.
According to the report that I'm seeing, this match actually went 17 minutes and 20 seconds. They had some time. They were given time on this.
And it was great. You had really great back and forth. You had this chemistry between the two. I honestly did not know who was going to win. I wanted Jungle Boy to win.
You didn't know? Come on now. You didn't know who was going to win?
Oh, come on.
MJF was easily going to win. It's his first time coming back into the ring from the lockdown.
Jungle Boy had so much heart and soul within this match.
Nope.
You know, he had heart. He had soul. He was there fighting. And granted, he did lose. But my gosh, it was one of those things where you still rooted for the guy.
AEW has showed us one thing of how they do their booking. And it's something that we had talked about before with WWE and how they don't listen to the crowd. AEW does listen to the crowd. Jungle Boy, Jurassic Express, they're over. They are super over. When you're super over, it doesn't matter with titles. It doesn't even matter with wins. You're over with the crowd. They want to see you regardless. So I knew once the whole thing with, MJ's on lockdown, then he was saying the injury with the finger, but, that was all part of his gimmick thing that he was doing, of him just being a prick. And then when he would do the ringside stuff and the gambling, they're pushing him. He's getting the push. This was just a way of putting him back into the ring, giving Jungle Boy some time. But once it started, I knew MJF was going to walk away with the W. There was no way Jungle Boy was going to do it. And it doesn't hurt him. Think about it. We're not thinking any less of Jungle Boy.
No, it doesn't hurt either one, but the fact that the match...
Oh, it would have hurt. It would definitely hurt MJF if he lost. It would definitely would have hurt.
No, it wouldn't have hurt MJF. It may have hurt his ego. I mean, in his rating, isn't he like...
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Exactly.
Something?
It would in the ratings. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
It would have even made it
would
even
impact
more.
him. No one cares about the Jungle Boy one because it doesn't matter. They just want to see him and his buddies come out and do their matches. They play and work better as a team than as opposed to just solo.
Yeah.
Besides Luchasaurus. But Luchasaurus is mainly because of his look. I mean, he's a huge man with a crazy mask. But we've seen what happens with Marco Stunt when he does this, and he had that one with Lance Archer where they sort of pulled a Bam Bam Spike Dudley moment from ECW where he threw him over the guardrail into the crowd. Did you see that when they pulled that off with Lance and?
Yep.
Yeah, that was scary. I always get scared when I see anything of that nature going over the guardrail because I've seen where the person falls short, and that happened earlier. It's like a year and a half ago, maybe just a year ago, over in Ring of Honor, where the guy did the moonsault and his legs hit the guardrail and he broke both of them.
Well, didn't Lita break her neck that way?
No. She didn't break her neck that way. She banged into the guardrail. She sprained it, but that's not how she broke her neck. She broke it in a different way. But it definitely looked like she broke her neck there, but she didn't. That weird bend. Ugh, I can't even watch it. Looking at that again is brutal. I don't even think about that. But when I see them jump over it, and I know Kenny Omega did that over at Wrestle Kingdom a few years back in Japan. But there was guys there, the Young Bucks were below, ready to catch him if he was going to fall short. If he was going to hit his back on that guardrail. And that was the concern I had here. But, I don't want to drift. See, I'm already drifting off. But that's the thing. It's a little daisy chains. It just spreads off into moments. But MJF, I saw him winning this regardless. He's a heel. They kept advertising and bragging about his ranking, his wins.
Personality.
Exactly.
And it would have been a blow to his ego. He would have never gotten over it. And we would have got an even more spectacular match.
Not with Jungle Boy. They're trying to push him up into the upper echelon, so he's definitely going to move beyond this. We're not going to see a feud continue with Jungle Boy. That's
even not Jungle Boy, just in general with the company, you can have it easily as this thing is, you lost to Jungle Boy.
Ugh.
And the pure,
it was a good match, but it was a predictable match. So then, because of that, it took some of the enjoyment out. It's sort of like when you watch the match at WWE. I'm like, I know who's going to win this one. I see where this is going. It could still be a fun match. You know when they
win, but it's also about how it's pulled off.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. But I knew this was going to be a legit. This was going to be a legit.
But it was pulled off amazing.
It was fun. All right, so what was another standout match for you?
All right, another one. Well, just
what you want to just bang this one out? I mean, might as well because there was some issues that the Chris Statlander one.
Yeah, I mean, it was an improvement from what I thought it was. I didn't go to the bathroom.
The Penelope Ford match. It's like I don't want to bash it. I don't want to bash it, but just the quality just isn't there. Everything, it's got to be. And I don't believe it's the performers. I'm sure the wrestlers, they know what they're doing. I know Chris has been doing some stuff, in other promotions and Impact before she went over, so I know things are going on, but. It just they're not planning things out. They need more time to plan things out. They have to work on their chemistry, come up with something because there were too many spots where they were looking at each other like, all right, do we do this now? Do we do that? Oh, let's try to go this, and then it comes off a little sloppy, and it sucks. It sucks because I want to give it the benefit of the doubt, but then it's hard to give it the benefit of the doubt when we're seeing these type of matches. And then even now, looking at the time, it was only 5 minutes. They were given 5 minutes for that. So, two things: either they were rushing everything to get in all their spots within the 5 minutes, or two, upper management saw it like, you know what, this isn't going to look good, so let's just give 5 minutes and go.
That's let me say something positive. They made it on the card, so that's a good thing. I was slightly confused about the whole thing of Kip Sabian being there and that he was a distraction.
I don't know.
I didn't like that part at all.
Yeah, that happened. So see, there you go. There goes that one. Okay, so the Moxley, there was another standout. This match for me was a standout match.
Moxley?
Yeah, the Moxley match and the Brody Lee, because it was all over the place. This is going to be Mox's MO, and this is what we're going to know Mox for even when he retires. This is what he likes to do. He's going to be that brawler. He's going to do all the craziness, fighting all over the arena, using weapons, doing that whole thing. That's him. That was him in CZW. That's what he tried to go with in WWE, and they sort of held that back. And then now he's going back to that.
It was a much tailored version of when we got what was the unsanctioned match that was too much.
Which one? He's had a bunch. Oh, the one with Kenny Omega.
Yes.
Kenny Omega. Yeah.
So I'm happy we didn't go that far. We got blood, but it wasn't excessive.
It was It's right at the end, blood.
Yeah, when he went and
last minute blood. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I sort of thought about it, and when I watched this match, it brought back memories of, was it a Money in the Bank? Not sure, but I want to say it was a Money in the Bank because it was ladders everywhere. When Bray Wyatt and Mox had that fight, when he was Demon Ambrose, and they were just jumping off of ladders onto each other on tables. Remember that? It was just constant. Mm-hmm. They would set up a table, they would jump on each other. They would set up a ladder, they'd swing the ladder, jump on another table. And it was just back and forth to the point of like, all right, we've seen so much of this. But it was like that mixed up. But I had that feel. It was a lot of crazy moments and tossing each other all over the place. And this is what I was saying with the whole thing with the Cody and how that ended, and then how this one ended. So Moxley gives Dirty D's to Brody on that walkway ramp, and they break through it. All right, so they fall through. Mox comes out. It's a little beat up, but he wasn't the one that took the move. It was Brody. Brody comes out bleeding, right? Not excessive. We're not seeing a crimson mask.
Like a good regular bleed.
Yeah, it looked like a regular cut. He comes out. He tries to do some move, but he's still staggering around because of the head trauma. Takes another Dirty D, kicks out. Then Mox just goes to town with some elbows and just getting vicious, just bashing him. Eventually just gets the rear naked choke, and that's it. He doesn't tap. He just sees it out, and the ref stops. The announcers make quick work to announce, to say, look at this. Brody Lee put up a hell of a fight. He did not tap. He got choked out from a choke. It was a ref stoppage. And they really kept emphasizing to keep Brody strong. And now that's right. And that's something that can be used later on, because then Brody can say, hey, there was weird things happened. We broke through the area. I hit my head. Wasn't fully aware what's happening. And you just choked me out. I didn't tap. You just choked me out. And the ref stopped it. So they can continue the story, and I'll be cool with that. He still looks strong, especially since he's the leader of a group. He still looks strong because it's like, hey, this is some random event happened, and he got choked out. So if something like that would have happened in the Cody Lance match, then it made sense. It didn't, and that was a clean. This wasn't clean. This was, hell, somebody's rear naked choke, that's an illegal move. The ref should have just broke it up, but they didn't. That was clean rear naked choke. You know, he basically, you kill somebody. Rear naked choke, people are like, oh, you just knock. It's not just knockout. It's cut off airflow and it's to kill somebody. So the ref just decided to stop it. So there goes that. It's wrestling. It's not MMA and the whole thing. But the whole point is, it leaves a door open for that feud to continue now, because it wasn't oh, you didn't make me tap and you didn't pin me. So I liked it. I liked that finish. That finish was a perfect finish for that match. And it was an okay match. A lot of jumping around and stuff. But that's what I expected. Glad to see more of Brody Lee. He's always been an amazing performer, especially when he's in WWE. We got to see a lot of that. Big man flying around the ring and doing all that stuff. Yeah, so it was good. I don't know. And I really like the ending. What about you?
No, 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 no.
You didn't like the ending, or you didn't like the match?
No, I didn't. Here's the thing with me. I don't like Brody Lee's gimmick, and I don't know what would be a good gimmick for him. But so, in terms of being the exalted one and the order, I don't even know what that means.
Well,
So therefore,
it's his own group. He's like doing the cult leader thing. It's no different than like the Bray Wyatt. Just he has
no,
actual more members. Because remember they were doing those videos where they were recruiting people.
right. So then, in that case, it feels to me that this match wasn't meaningful at all. Because if I don't know, was he trying to recruit John Moxley? Was it one of those, look how powerful I am in the exalted one? Because if you go through that one, and you can be like, well, he didn't technically tap out, so he's still the great and powerful exalted one, which kind of reminded me when remember when Austin didn't pass out during one of the
Yeah. That was with the blood thing.
with the blood and it ran
Yeah,
down his
with
face.
with the Bret Hart.
So if you go into that way, then that would make sense. Him, just passing out would be the one that made sense the most. The thing is that his character itself, I don't like, and I feel that it's useless.
All right, so you don't like the character.
I don't like the character.
The character is a little wishy-washy for me too, because at one point they made it seem like with the Dark Order, there's like a cult and the whole thing. But then he comes out with suits and doing that whole Vince impersonation of sitting at the table and judging people and telling them to leave and all that stuff. And I was like, that doesn't fit with this. At least not the way they were building it up. And I guess they're just changing it now, but it doesn't fit, and that throws me off. But for the character to make him look strong, I think it worked. At least on my end, I see it as it worked.
The match went too long.
15, it says 15 minutes here. That was 15, 30 minutes.
Longer. 15. It felt longer. It felt like, remember the Edge-Orton match?
Oh, that really went long.
Which was like 30 minutes, and people were like dying, like, please.
Yeah,
and
we didn't need to see all that.
It was getting to that point for me, and that was only 15 minutes. I just feel that Brody Lee does not have, as to watch him in matches, does not have that charisma. I'm just not attracted to his wrestling matches.
I felt this was rushed, not
and
in the match.
He's not a bad one. He's just boring.
I just felt it was kind of early for him to have a title shot.
Yeah, I didn't understand.
That I didn't understand, and I know they were like, oh, new year, new stats, and the whole thing, and then this was more of a personal thing because he had the belt. Remember, he took Moxley's belt, and that's how they justified jumping the line and all that. But it didn't make much sense for him to do that. It should have been more of a build-up. Keep having matches, feud with some other guys, do some other things, and then eventually go after the top dog.
Sorry.
Yeah, so that's the only thing. But the ending justified everything, and it sort of made it seem like, well, at least they can continue this feud if they go down that road. I'm assuming they're going to continue down that road with the finish, because then now he could definitely say, hey, I didn't lose. The ref stopped it. He choked me and he stopped it. But don't worry, now I'm going to get my upcomings and this and that. We're going to do this. All right, here's a question for you then. Do you see Moxley losing anytime soon?
No. And here's the thing that comes to this, because they announced for Fyter Fest he's going to go against Brian Cage, which then brings up what you just didn't like about Brody Lee, about why he got a title match.
Yeah. Now, see, well, the thing with Cage is that he won their version of the Money in the Bank, so he could cash in. And I guess this is his road, his route that he's going to take to get this. Hey, if that's confirmed, I didn't see that. That's confirmed. It's the next one.
He confirmed it.
Then Cage has to win this. Cage has to win this only. And people are like, well, what do you mean? He has to win this only because he's a new fresh face. He's a big man that they just brought in. So unless they want to bury him quick, then he has to win. Then he should have never won their chip match if they had no intentions of having him win and just feeding people to Moxley.
Mm-hmm.
If this is how they plan on running matches for their champions, feeding them this way, they're going to lose a lot of viewers just because of, not that the product sucks, it's just going to be story-wise lack of interest, because you're going to be like, wow, a new big man or a new talent just showed up. Oh, wow, he has a title match already. Unlike what was happening in Impact, whenever a former WWE guy would show up, not only did he get a title match, but he would win the title. They all did it. We're seeing the reverse here right now. But the thing is that, why are they getting a title shot to begin with?
I don't know.
Stick to your numbers, stick to your stat systems, and I guess people could argue about, oh well, the whole thing with Brody and the title, taking that, and then now this guy has that chip, that version of Money in the Bank, he's guaranteed that. It's like, yeah, I get that, but that was their design. They could have had anybody else climb that ladder, win that chip, and then let Cage work his way up to that point. Once you put him from A to Z, like they're doing now, he just arrived and now he's right to the top. He's got his first official match is going to be a title. I'm sure he's going to have some other matches in between until that pay-per-view, but he's already got a title shot.
Right. But here's the thing with Brody Lee. I feel that with the character itself, he's very intelligent, as we all know when we heard him speak. I mean, even he had the interview where he's like, people don't know what to do with me because they hear how educated I am and I'm not like a southern backyard hillbilly. I think that would be best for him if he is more psychological and he plays more of a psychological game, not to say Bray Wyatt, not at all. There are different ways to be psychological, and it would have been a better match if it was told from a psychology standpoint.
All right. Before we get to the main one, there's some, and again, people be like, oh, you're not going through it. We are, but it's just some needed more time to talk, some don't. And here's one that just doesn't need that time. The Dustin Rhodes match that he had against Shawn Spears. That was, and there's no knock on anyone, it just wasn't needed for this card. I know Shawn was arguing, I enjoyed the segment that Shawn Spears did as a newscaster more than I enjoyed the actual match.
Yeah,
that was very fun. It was awesome. He's great at that role, but I knew Dustin was going to win this one. It's just, again, this is one of those predictable ones I'm watching. I'm like, okay, it's going to be a solid match. They're both great performers, but it didn't offer anything new, and it didn't progress the storyline. If we're going based off storylines. Again, some people are going to argue not everything has to be a storyline. You're right. And that's what this was. It was
a time filler.
Yeah, exactly. This was a time filler. Brandy comes out with Dustin and they do their thing. But again, it was a clean finish. Dustin wins. Is that what I don't know from this? Is he really retiring, or was that just part of what he was saying and that's what they're going with, like a story of that he might be retiring?
Dustin?
Yeah.
No.
He's not retiring. All right. So that's right.
Oh, he's old. And,
I don't think he's old. And he's in great shape. Okay.
He's in great shape, but, that's the way of the storyline. Get out of here, you old man.
Yeah. Now, the thing with Shawn Spears, though, your whole thing of Brody Lee, right, about you just don't get his in-ring, that's the way I feel about Shawn. I felt like that when he was Perfect 10. I felt like that when he was before Perfect 10, when he was doing the NXT stuff. It just doesn't... It's some kind of, I don't know what it is, his character or something internally in the ring just doesn't work for me. He's great on the mic, he's fun with the segment, but something in the ring has to change. It just doesn't stand out.
Wrestling at all?
Not so much. When he was doing the Perfect 10, I was like, there's nothing perfect about him. Is this supposed to be like the Mr. Perfect gimmick? Because he's not perfect.
That was terrible.
It's not doing it for me. But the fans loved it. That was the thing. The fans were more about his gimmick than they were about his actual in-ring ability. And we saw that when he wound up going to the main roster.
It didn't last, though.
It didn't last. It didn't last.
It was something that works in a really small indie setting.
Yeah.
So the 10 thing, it's quick and easy to chant. You're just saying 10.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So it works in that thing. But, overall, but I do feel like he finally found his niche when it came to being the newscaster, and he had his little news segment. I would like that. Now, as a wrestler, I thought he was perfectly fine. Remember, he accidentally killed Cody.
yeah, I guess. With that, yeah.
And you felt the intensity of him in that match, in that rivalry. So I think that it works. I want to see where like I can be the
He
fun, laughable newscaster, but then at the same time I can kill you
he
in the
needs.
ring.
You see, but that's the thing, that it's the killing part that doesn't work. It doesn't come off believable in his in ring work.
Right?
If he can partner up with MJF, they could do some damage. I think,
Yeah.
at least when it comes to their segments and stuff, and then maybe they could figure something out in ring. I don't know. In
They're
ring,
both great talkers, though.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. That would be a killer, heel team, tag team. But that's not the road they're gonna go with MJF, because he's doesn't need anybody else.
Which is would have been great if he lost the match and then you had Sean Spears kind of like build him back up again.
Yeah, well, there goes that. Now this one, not so much of a filler. It was sort of important, I guess, but I just didn't really feel it, and that was for the women's title.
You just call it a filler?
It threw me off.
The emotional?
All right, so go ahead, talk about it. Talk
The
about it.
tributeness to her, oh, I'm gonna butcher the woman's name, Hannah, who could she, I can't pronounce her name.
Sheeta,
Yes, Sheeta.
Sheeta, and
No,
Nyla
the
Rose.
woman who died, the one who committed
Oh
suicide.
yes, I forgot her name, but yes, I know she was from Shine.
So
From Shine,
yeah,
that was horrible.
that was
That was
horrible.
cyberbullying, and I don't.
22 years old.
If I remember, wasn't she part of that Vice series wrestler?
Um,
When they went to Shine, I could have swore she was one of the ones they interviewed.
I don't know. Hannah Kimura. I'm probably butchered that. I am sorry.
Yeah.
But she was an amazingly talented wrestler that, everyone in the Japanese wrestling field knew. Asuka was the one that, was reading the messages that she would send on the social media and actually called for help. And unfortunately, they got there too late. And she feels that. And you can also see that the match, oh gosh, the match that we had just now with
Sheeta.
Cheetah, she was close to her too.
Yeah, yeah.
And
No, that's the thing. I'm not knocking on that. It's the whole Nyla Rose and just the title itself. And again, I'm not knocking on Nyla Rose and her personal things going on. Don't care about that. It's just it doesn't do anything for me. This women's division hasn't really sparked that interest yet for me.
overall they have a lot to build up, and I think that that's just when it comes to a lot of more practice, a lot of time to get better training. But for where they originally started, when we saw AEW in
Oh, the
its
first, oh yeah, that was a mess. There's some people that never came back after that.
it was a hot mess.
It was so bad. It was so bad.
And to compare to where we're seeing now, and Brandy has kind of also said, we are building up that division. We are.
They have to. They have to do something, because if there's one perk, and as much as we talk about it all the time, and we talk about how NXT with the women, that what they have is they have the performance center. When we see them live on NXT, that's one day out of the week. The rest of the days in the week, they're there setting up spots, working with each other. They're building up match types and segments, so that way when it's time for showtime, it's polished. And that's what they need. Obviously, it's showing that they haven't gotten to that point yet.
But they're getting there.
They're getting there. They're getting there.
It's a slow look. This is not something. Even when it comes to NXT, this is not an overnight thing.
No, it's not.
This is something that NXT just became a big thing, but it's been around for years. That brand.
It was, and again, hey, people want to knock it. It's Triple H. It's credit Triple H. He's the one that decided to turn it into a brand.
And
Dusty, both of them. Dusty was there training and setting things in motion. But definitely it was Triple H getting the green light to open up the wallet. And it was smart of him to go out there and scout and pick up some of the best indie guys out there. And then say, you know what, I'm not going to change your name. This is what people know you for. This is what you built your career on. Bring it. Because we're trying to build this as a brand, and you're a star. Right. And as much as Vince hates doing that because he wants to own everything, he has to understand and respect that, because that's what he did when he was building the WWF. He was picking up talent that were known, like Hulk Hogan and Piper and all this other. He was picking them up because of their star power, and they're known star power. You can't just pick people up and then rebrand them and think people are going to know, oh, well, I remember him. That's so-and-so. Especially back in the day, they didn't do that. So I'm glad we're not seeing that done anymore. And even now in AEW, they're not doing that. So hopefully that's a thing of the past. If you made yourself a big star on whatever, the indies or whatever you want to call them, because not all of them are indies, but smaller promotions, then keep the name and keep it going. But I forgot how we got on this. But yeah, it's just the talent, the women's talent. Because I know Ring of Honor has their knockout champs, right? Was that what's it called? Or is it no knockout the Impact?
No, knockout was TNA.
TNA. They still have their knockouts, right? They still have a women's division in TNA.
Yes, women still exist in TNA.
But I know Ring of Honor has one too. Women of Honor, I think that's what they just call it. I don't know, but whatever. But the match was, it was a match. So it didn't do much for me.
It was a match. Oh my god!
I'm sorry. It didn't.
Oh,
And you know, no, I'm sure she was going through a lot. I'm sure mentally she was going through a lot. It's hard, you know. It's when you as you know, we all know some people that have died with our current situations with this virus, and then to still try to keep light and move on forward and talk about the things like wrestling this or write stuff for the Koalition, you know, games stuff. You know, we still have to, you know, we're still doing other things besides thinking of the doom and gloom. And I'm sure she was in that same mindset. I was like, well, I still have to have this match. I still have to do this. And when she just wants to mourn the loss of her friend. But then again, she's here in the States, and I don't even know if she could have traveled overseas to go even get involved in that. So it's a lot, and it sucks. Situation sucks, but well, that happened.
yeah, it was a great match. Even though Nyla Rose just kind of bulldozed everything, you know, you can even see in a way, you know, Nyla was very physical, and she, you know, allowed her body to be used as basically a bowling ball.
Yeah.
Because she was just bouncing off everything, guardrails, there was poker chip involved. There were a lot of setups.
Yeah. Well, they had to do something because for the longest time she was just looking like the unstoppable force. She had that awesome Kong vibe.
Yeah.
You know. So, all right. So then there goes that. So now the main event. Now this one was interesting. This was very interesting because it started off one way. At least my mindset was. And it went in a completely different way. And I'm like, oh, it's turning into that. So, okay, I'm on board. I went into this let me just be entertained. So this is that main battle match between the Inner Circle and the Elite. And they were having this match in a ring that was set up on the Jaguars football stadium on the actual grass area on the field, right at the 50-yard line. Yeah, so I'm like, I'm watching this. I was like, all right, so this is gonna be a match. I didn't see the reasoning for having it there until the second segment part of this match. Then it made sense. But when they start off, they run at each other. Some are wearing pads. That was awkward to see on the Inner Circle side. They had shoulder pads on. They were throwing footballs at each other. It was very comical. They were doing a lot of comical things. And then it just started heading into the bizarre. And I would say that changed. Are you laughing? Yeah, because that changed quickly once we see Ortiz and what's his name? What's his partner's name? Santana, that's it, right? When they take Matt Hardy into a little pool area, like I don't even know what that is over
It
there.
was like the spa, you know, jacuzzi-ish type.
It looked very odd. Yeah, it just looked weird place. Like I don't know. Whatever. That place has a weird layout, interesting layout. But they're trying to drown Broken Matt, and every time they pop his head up, he's a different version of himself. So they pop him up, and then he's Matt Hardy. Then he was the ultimate version. He was like Woken Matt for a little bit, and then they were like, "What's going on?" They tried to drown him again, and then that was funny. That was funny, you know. And that's when everything started changing, and we was like, "All right, so now they have a lot of parts here that they're going to be editing and filming." And then they cut away, and we have Paige sitting at a bar just drinking. That's why I didn't mention it, but everybody else showed up for the brawl except Paige. They didn't know where Adam Page was. And now you see that he's at the bar in like the Sky Room. And Hager's there, and he sees him drinking, and Adam looks at him like, "Are you gonna drink or are you here to fight?" And I was like, what's going on here? And then they start brawling it out. He gets choked. Adam Page gets choke slammed on the table, the pool table that's there. He gets dragged across the bar like one of those old movies, Western movies. It there was a lot of funny segments. People need to go watch it. There's just too many to pop up. But for this match, it didn't really matter for me who won. Eventually, we see who wins, and it's the Elite. They pull off. It was Kenny Omega doing a one-winged angel to what's his name? The young kid. Sammy Guevara. Yeah. Off of again. Where did he throw him? I tried to see that. It looked like it was a balcony to some tables or something, or maybe a. What was that?
No, it was the stadium balcony was 20 feet above, and he kind of crashed him through this. It was a very well padded crash landing, but it was just basically a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It was just the stuff. Like, yeah. I don't know, but I just don't know what that stuff was there for. So
it was there to make sure they didn't die.
No, yes, for that. But I mean, without the storyline, if this is supposed to be that they were just going crazy in this arena, it wasn't
a storyline to there just being stuff there.
It was supposed to be that they're in a football stadium, and they, like you see, they were in the bar area of the stadium. There is a bar area in a lot of stadiums they have. So that was expected with the pool. That pool table there. I've seen those things, but the whole thing with the pool, it's like it's where they relax. I mean, that's not open to the public. This has to be for the players. But then they said it was only 3 feet.
You're adorable.
What? I'm just saying.
I'm so confused. Why is there a pool in a stadium?
I don't. It was there. It's there. They didn't transplant somewhere else or teleport, I should say. They were there, but it was fun. It was fun. I enjoyed it. They did a lot of filming on this one, a lot of edits, and I know you sent me that image with Jericho with the line marker across his body. Again, don't know why they did that. But
nothing makes sense.
Yeah, that or when
small references in a football field. Okay, no, you're describing this whole thing so wrong.
Probably go ahead, you do it then.
Then.
Do it.
This was at the stadium, the Jaguars Stadium.
Yes.
Which we have to thank you to Tony Khan and Daddy Khan. Because he literally just called up and was like, Daddy, can I use the stadium for a weekend?
Well, they're not using it for football or anything.
Well, it works.
It's all season anyway. So.
You skipped over the greatest thing that ever happened in the history of this whole thing.
What?
So they came out, and there's a couple of things that really was just great. They came out, as you were saying, the Inner Circle had the matching football uniforms, which I really hope they sell, which included the padded football and like the whole actual football ball itself. And then you had the Elite come out with, like, basically there was like skins and shirts. It was, except for Matt Hardy. But they came out with weapons, and they were on the other side of the field, and they just kind of ran into each other like a big clash. It just started running.
Oh, I forget they had cheerleaders. That was funny. Cheerleaders wearing face masks.
The cheerleaders wearing some face masks. It was a full band, by the way. And they would all come out like this was an actual football championship game. With the whole...
Yeah, with the smoke and stuff. I thought that was just filler time.
No, that was just no. You're gonna do a stadium stampede. Treat it like a stadium.
So do you think if we didn't have the current situations that we have, do you think people would have been able to see that or move there? Or was this was done just because of our current situation?
This was just because of this current situation.
Yeah, right? Because this should have just been, this could have easily just been done in the ring.
No, how dare you?
The match, not all the gimmicks, all the crazy spots, the match itself.
Right, the match itself. But here's the thing that was beautiful about it. So you had like random footballs were being flown and like people are getting hit in the head with the garbage can, and then a random broom would just show up anywhere. But here's what I really enjoyed. And this is something that WWE did not do with their corporate ladder match when you had to climb the corporate building, which was so stupid. Yeah. And then everybody just kind of, once they got to the roof, they did like one spot in the ring and they just climbed up the ladder, and that was it. They utilized the ring. It was a ring in the middle of the football stadium, and they put on a pretty darn good match, by the way.
Well, it went 34 minutes.
The match itself, the ring match that they used was around 5 to 7 minutes. And that was really great how they did that. It was superb. They actually utilized, here's a ring. We're going to use the ring. Because what would be the purpose of the ring being there? So they used it. That was the fantastic part. Then, everyone's looking around. Where the heck is Hangman Page? Nobody knew. And Sammy's just like, I don't know what's going on. And then all of a sudden, you see Hangman Page gallop out on a horse.
Oh, that's right. I forgot the horse.
A literal horse. They went to the Khan family farm and got the horse. And poor Sammy has been abused throughout this whole week, past 2 weeks probably. Remember last time we saw him, he was being chased down with a golf cart.
Yeah.
Now it's the horse. The man has lungs of steel.
It was a horse, and then there was another car. Remember later on? They get another car and they chase him down. Mm-hmm. But that's right. That was the part that I sort of forgot about. That
I don't know how you could forget
that. I don't know, because I thought I forgot all about the horse, because I also remember that when Jake Hager was searching around the arena, he sees the horse in the hallway, and it was right pointing toward right in front of the bar area. That's what led him to go into the bar area to see Adam Page drinking.
Yeah, great. That was the thing. So he's chasing him down. Sammy takes off running while everyone else is actually doing individual spots. And this is when, everyone who came together to be inside the ring, they start breaking off in their own separate segments. So you have Sammy's being chased. We don't know where the heck he is. He just runs off anywhere. And that's where you lose, kind of like Adam Page is running and looking for him in the building. You have Jake Hagar. He takes off running. He's in the bar. Then you have that's when Ortiz and Santana take Matt Hardy into the jacuzzi pool area, because it was only like a little section. It wasn't like a full pool. It was like literally like a jacuzzi.
Where was that a jacuzzi? Because they said it was 3 feet, and it was long. It looked like a pool. Like, it did not look.
I don't know. Pool jacuzzi.
Like a jacuzzi.
For the elite, I would never be allowed to go in here. I'm poor. So whatever it was, it's a stadium, a random pool. I don't know. It's a Khan family pool. It was there.
I figured that maybe it had something to do for the performers, like the football players, something to.
Probably. I don't know what goes on in that. I don't even.
Maybe it was a infinity pool. Maybe it could have been one of those. Not infinity pool. What are they called? Where you just go in and it's just like a singular, just a swim. There's a name for it where it's just so you could swim, but you don't really go anywhere. It's like the current's going against you, so that way you can just. Yeah, I think it's called infinity pool.
I don't know. I don't know.
All right, yeah, just keep going.
The city pool. That's all we have. So
the city pool.
The city pool. I don't know. So you have that reincarnation where they did 3 different versions of Matt Hardy. That was brilliant. I didn't even know. And also they changed to the matter of facts.
When they and they could see it. That was the funny part. They were like, "What is that? What is that over there?" And they could see that he could hold his breath for
like 364 seconds.
Yeah, it's like, what is this?
It's like the different versions of him, and he's like under the water doing all of his versions of Matt Hardy. And it was brilliant.
Well, that was it. The best is when he came up as the old school Matt Hardy, and he does like the 2-finger gun thing. He went, "Oh!" Like, but you know what? They teased this before on AEW Dynamite a few weeks back when they had that running around anywhere goes match, and he was thrown into the ice box, and he came out, as the new version of him, and he had his coat on and everything. So that was brilliant. Yeah.
They cut to the bar thing where you see Jake Hager and Adam Page. They're sitting down and they're like, drinking, and they're like, well, are we gonna drink or are we gonna fight? And then there's a Big Lebowski reference in there, which people miss, which is really great.
I haven't seen that in so long.
And this was the only time that I really enjoyed Hager, because I can't stand Hager. I don't know why he was there. I would have let him go a while ago, but this was the only time that I could stand him, and he was great. And he was just the big guy who just would not back down. And then that's when Kenny Omega came in.
Oh, yeah, doing smashing bottles on his head.
And, that's when, they was fighting. And here was a really cute thing. People don't seem to know. Kenny Omega doesn't drink. So the fact that they had Adam Page was pouring the glass of milk and Omega was pouring the whiskey, and they pouring each other drinks, that only showed how strong their friendship is. But to the point where they know what each other likes. I thought it was so cute. It's like a little small thing that they.
It was all right. It was cool. I saw that with the milk, and I was like,
you forgot the horse.
Yeah, but overall, You liked it.
Oh, it was just brilliant. And then you had Sammy Guevara. They did the whole there was the one of the young bucks did the moonsault off the gold post. That was hilarious.
He did.
Then you had
Oh,
the
the suplex. Remember the suplex from one end to the other end?
yes, all the way to the 100-yard line, and
Yeah.
then he took Guevara's head and spiked it like a
Yeah.
helmet.
Yeah.
But he got flagged for
For dancing, for celebration, because he started doing his dance.
for celebration or
Yeah,
something.
celebration. And there was another weird moment, too, where it was going for a 3 count for Jericho. And it was 2, and the referee's like, no, that's not. That was 3. He's like, no, let's go to the video. And they go into the little room and they close it up so that way he could watch the replay.
Yes,
And she was
that
like,
was
you're not
horrible.
supposed to be in here. You're not allowed to be in here. I'm like, what is this? It was comical. It was fun.
It was great.
It was fun. I'm all for taped wrestling. And I realized this before all this craziness happened. I realized this when I was watching Lucha Underground. Lucha Underground was all taped. Crazy segments in the back. Bodies disappearing. Ghosts. All kinds of things. Puppets talking. And that's when I was like, you know what? I'm all in for this style of a wrestling show. And I'm glad to see that carry over into other promotions that we do watch that are still around. I'm glad WWE's doing it, embracing it, and fans are embracing it. And I'm glad AEW is also pulling it off. Because that was the thing. After we saw the whole thing with Lucha Underground pulling off, then we see Matt Hardy doing some of his stuff with the broken, and now it's taking off too. I'm like, I'm telling you, this can work. We can see this. This could be part of wrestling. We all know it's fixed. We know that. There's a lot of. That's the thing. It's very physical. There's no doubt about that. I'm not saying it's fake. I refuse to say it's fake. It's not. You have to be a real performer to do this stuff. But we know the outcomes, and we're there for the stories. Stories is really what progresses all this.
Right.
So I'm glad that they're embracing it with these weird shenanigans and these cuts to help sell the story. The thing with the horse and the bar and the milk and all that. That was fun.
And chasing poor Sammy.
And chasing Sammy with the car. And they didn't hit him, but they did hit him before. They hit him and Jericho. Remember in the back when they had the golf cart? They were running them over, which was fun. I was like, wow, you're going an extra mile. You're taking those chances.
And he was screaming, leave me alone.
Yeah. It was good. So it's fun, and it proves it's entertainment. This is it. I hate when people are like, oh, no, this isn't fun. Come on now. This is it. You watch movies that are 10 times worse than this shit. So enjoy it. Embrace it. So overall, that was it. I enjoyed the show. I enjoyed it. I thought it was a solid show. The only real issue I had on it was with the Cody finish. But besides that, I was okay with it. Everybody did an amazing job, even though some of the women matches not so great. But they still tried. No one half-assed it. That's the thing. I think it's just a communication and a lack of just working together on some point. But nothing looked half-assed. Everybody was putting in. I did appreciate, even though it's kind of weird, the fans, the limited fans that they had around, or I think those are wrestlers in the back that came out in the front.
It was the staff.
It was the staff. Okay, the staff, and just throwing in the chants of "this is awesome" and all that stuff. Like, yeah, but you know what? This is what people would say. That's the thing. This is what people would say. What do you mean, no? That's what they say. People chant that.
Say that. No, the fact that if you look at one brand and how there is nothing there, it feels like it's dead and lifeless. Not the wrestling itself, but just the whole performance. This is a performance. What people are forgetting. Okay, this is not like golf. This is a performance. So you need the cheering and the clapping and something to root and to give you that energy to keep going. And that's what I feel this really worked.
I don't know about that. Because
you
you know what? I'll tell you this much. I'll tell you why.
That?
And for anyone listening, you just tell me if you've ever been in a situation. You go to a bar. You see there's a game on TV. They always have a game. And it has just the closed caption because the audio's off. We don't hear the crowd. We don't hear everything going on. We're just watching the game, whether basketball, football, soccer, because we're paying attention to the action on the field. That's the way I feel about wrestling. I can set it to mute and watch it and be perfectly fine. I don't need that. It doesn't do anything for me. For some people it might, but for me, could care less. I go based off of the in-ring work, and that's it. Now, for the wrestlers, yeah, I'm sure they need that adrenaline to do some of their spots, and you always hear it. They're like, hey, I feed off the crowd. The crowd motivated me to do the moonsault off the top of a ladder. I could see that, because a normal person would not want to do that. But the crowd cheering you on and stuff, it's like, yeah, I got to do it. But for the viewers, I don't think so. I don't know. It didn't do anything for me. That sort of stuff. But I heard it was just funny that they were doing those chants, hearing this is awesome and all that stuff. So
I thought the chance was wonderful.
it's fine. No, I'm not knocking it. It just, it's just more noise to it. It just didn't do it. It didn't add to my enjoyment. I still enjoyed it.
You didn't have crowds back in the day when they wrestled.
No, I'm telling you, it's Day of the Silent Pictures. That was it. It was just, just see them run around and make the motions with their mouth.
Silent pictures. That's what I grew up on. What is sound?
Exactly. Don't make fun of my time. That was the Mid-Atlantic accent. It took a long time to get rid of that. All right. Well, everybody, that was it. That was our little rundown. Sorry for the delay. We'll be back for the next pay-per-view with everybody. I think that's a WWE one.
Probably, because
is it Summers? No, is it? No, it's Summers.
No, Fighter. Wait, no.
No. Is it Fighter Flight? Another AEW one is next. I thought it was a WWE one.
No, it's the thing with the NXT. In Your House.
Oh, okay. Yeah. NXT one. Oh, okay.
In Your House, which is going to be on the June of the 7th.
June 7th. Oh, okay. Yeah. So that's 2 weeks.
Yes. So we have that.
All right, so yeah, we'll be back for our normal Friday night predictions for that one, and I hope everybody enjoyed this. Go ahead, keep going to. Oh, yes, forgot. There you go. Take it away.
Through a miracle of stuff, we on the YouTube channel. There is an interview with the Tony Khan, John Moxley, and Cody Rhodes about AEW. The Double or Nothing is their post interview.
There you go, people. Go check it out. Dana got those interviews. It's up. And who knows? We'll continue that if that does well, right? You want to keep talking to these wrestlers. You're already talking about the actors and stuff. So.
Yep. Why not wrestlers? Because this is what I grew up in.
There you go. All right, everybody. Well, enjoy the rest of your holiday weekend. And we will see you next time. Peace.
Peace.